This time it's here Classic 85. This is my 2005 Dodge Ram 2500 with the 5.9 Cummins. We got to do upper and lower ball joints on this passenger side. So we're going to get ready to do it. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. First thing you want to do is, of course, jack up your truck. And I've got a jack stand under there because you always want to be safe. So I take the jack out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the tire. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll catch back up with the next step. We got the wheel off. So now the next step is you want to get a little bit of slack in your ABS wire right here. So just pull it out of these little plastic clips. Just pull out, it's easy. Now we just got to take two 18 mils that hold your caliper bracket on, and we're going to take the caliper off and slide it out of the way and put a zip tie or bungee cord onto that control arm so it's out of the way, so you don't have to take your actual brake line off. And sorry if I sound a little different. I am a little sick still, so just bear with me there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll be back. All right, so the caliper bracket and caliper and pads are off. So now we need to pull the rotor off. Let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully yours isn't rusted on. Mine's actually not, surprisingly. Get that out of the way. And now we're going to, next step is gonna have to take these cotter pins off for the drag link and take that nut off and then pop that off. And then I think it's time to pull the 4 bolts that hold the hub assembly on, and then we'll pick it back up. I'll keep you guys updated if I run into any issues. Alright guys, just a little update. I got the drag link off, which goes right there. You have a cotter pin and a 21mm or 7/8. Pop that off, and then instead of removing your 4 bolts for your wheel bearing right here, you can just pull the cotter pin and remove the axle nut. So you could separate that, and then it'll be the ball joints next. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the axle nut off, and then we'll be back. Alright guys, so we got the axle nut off. As you can see right here, it is 1 3/4 inches, at least on this truck. I think they're probably all the same for the others too, but so now you can see this ABS wire, which the sensor goes in right here. I'm gonna leave that sensor in because we're in New England, we're in New Hampshire, and it's probably rusted in, so it's gonna break off. And I don't want to replace that, so I'm just gonna get as much slack as possible in this line, so that when I pull the spindle off, which is this whole assembly right here, we can just set it aside, and this won't be having any tension on it. So now we're ready to do the ball joints. I just removed the cotter pin for the lower one. Let's see if we can, you can see right there, down here. And now we need to do the cotter pin for this one, and then remove both the nuts, and hopefully get the spindle off. So we'll be back once I get those out. Alright guys, so I made a mistake here. You do have to pull your wheel bearing off. So there'll be 4 18mm bolts. Let's see if I can get it to look at them. You'll see the threads right there. They're back here, 1, 2, and there'll be another 2 on the same side. Let's see, yeah, they're 1 and 2. So gotta remove those, and then you'll have to disconnect your ABS wire, which it's just hooked to your brake line on these couple little clips. You just pull away, and then you have your 1 connector right here. You just gotta slide that red tab back, and probably a little clip or a little tab back there, and then just pull out. It'll come right apart because you have to set this whole thing aside. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that, and then we'll be back. Alright guys, so I got the wheel bearing pulled out. That was a super big pain, and I'm actually gonna have to replace my knuckle now because that thing was so seized in there. I had an air hammer all around it, and it mushroomed this face, and I don't think I can repair it, so I'm gonna have to get a used knuckle. But we got the top ball joint loose, we got the bottom one loose, so the spindle's basically ready to come off now. And then we'll get ready to press out the ball joints. And then I've got to do wheel bearing on order, but it won't be here for a couple days. So, yep, we'll go ahead and get this knuckle off, and then we'll get the ball joint switched out, and then I'll just have to wait until I get my wheel bearing to finish it up. But, okay, we'll be back. Alright guys, so we got the knuckle off, and you can see I got a ball joint press. This is a ball joint remover and installer. And we got it lined up here on this top ball joint. I actually went ahead and broke it loose off camera because this thing also is super seized on. So I may have to do a little bit more, but hopefully it's loose enough now that I can just take it out. But I'm not sure yet. So let's get this off. Yeah, it looks like it popped through. So let's get these off. That's close. Let's go beat it with it. I guess I'm gonna have to do a little bit more off camera to get it out, but basically you just have to set it up, get a ball joint press, set it up with some different cups. Like this one goes over the top of this, and then you'll put this one on top, and then just a matter of different ones to press out the bottom, because the upper ball joint needs to go up through the top, which it'll push through and end up in this sleeve right here. And then I'll go ahead and get the bottom one lined up, and I'll show you how to do that one. Alright guys, so I got the lower ball joint in. I actually just tapped this one in with a hammer and got my snap ring on and the grease fitting. So I just tapped it in with a hammer over here. This one went really well. The upper one though, it's a bit tighter, so I think I might have to use the ball joint press. But basically you just set it in there, and then you'll just use your different cups and something like this. Get the right one that fits it, of course, and then just press it in just like you took them out. Basically it's the same deal. So I'll go ahead and get this one finished up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when they're all done. Alright guys, so I got all the ball joints in, got them tightened, and I got a new wheel bearing just installed, and got the cotter pin in on the axle shaft nut. So that's all tight. So now I'm just going to finish putting it back together, which is putting the rotor on, the brake caliper bracket. So that's going to be it for this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.